Good evening, and a very warm welcome to the audience here at the Festival Theatre Studio in Edinburgh, and to those of you watching online all around the world. I'm Sarah Walker, and I'm delighted to be introducing the new European Songbook at the Edinburgh International Festival. These are two very special concerts. We'll meet a rich and diverse range of music and musicians. It's all part of the Spirit of 47, a programme of events co-curated by the festival and the British Council. They were founding partners of the very first Edinburgh Festival 70 years ago that set out to welcome people from all over the world in a celebration of culture and humanity in the aftermath of the Second World War. This year they're reminding us of that original festival belief that art and culture can act as a beacon of hope and reconciliation in a divided world. Well, the new European Songbook is all about collaboration. The project's brought together established European musicians from 7 nations, with artists who've recently arrived on the continent. Broadcasters across Europe commissioned these new songs and have made films of them. So all the songs we'll be hearing are going to be broadcast on BBC Arts Digital. And they're also going to be going out on BBC Radio 3, one each evening after the proms, beginning tonight. But this weekend they're receiving their live premieres right here in Edinburgh. Well, I'm going to be talking to the artists during the performance about how they came together to make these songs. Each of them will be performing individually, and then they'll present the song that they've made together. So without further ado, I think we should get on with the music. So I think we should welcome from Portugal the fantastic fado singer Carolina.
Se uma gaivota viesse trazer-me o céu de Lisboa, no desenho que fizesse, nesse céu onde o olhar é uma asa que não voa, esmorece e cai no mar. Que perfeito coração no meu peito bateria, meu amor, na tua mão, nessa mão onde cabia perfeito meu coração. Se um português marinheiro dos 7 mares andarilho fosse, quem sabe, o primeiro a contar-me o que inventasse, se um olhar de novo brilho ao meu olhar se enlaçasse, que perfeito coração no meu peito bateria, meu amor, na tua mão, nessa mão onde cabia perfeito meu coração. Se ao dizer adeus à vida as aves todas do céu me dessem na despedida o teu olhar derradeiro, esse olhar que era só teu amor, que foste o primeiro coração morria no meu peito, meu amor, na tua mão, nessa mão de perfeito bateu o meu coração.
Carolina singing Gaivota, absolutely wonderful. Carolina, do come over and have a chat, and I'm going to be talking as well to your collaborator, Demian Cabaud. Demian, welcome. Come and stand with us. And Carolina, first of all, was Gaivota a typical fado song, would you say?
Yes, it's one of the most important fado songs. It's singing by Amália Rodrigues. It's the queen of our song.
Wonderful. Well, you're collaborating with Demian, who's a double bass player. I think this is your first collaboration, isn't it?
Yes, it's our first together. I think, well, we try to do the great work here.
And Demian, you're based in Portugal now. What do you most love about living in Portugal?
Probably the way they live, the way they feel the relationship between each other, and the way they share love.
And they have very nice weather too, don't they? I would say that coming from here in Britain. But let's talk about your collaboration, because this is a song called Tristecina, which I think means sad destiny. So which of the two of you came up with the title?
Well, Tristecina, it's like a sad destiny. So it's a lost love. We don't have arms or hands for go to this love, and it's like it's a sad song about a love that we don't have.
Thank you. I'm very much looking forward to hearing it. And before we hear that song, Demian's going to play a solo for us. So tell us a little about your solo for this wonderful instrument laying over there.
Well, this is a piece called Paz en la Tierra, which is peace on earth. And I was listening to you, and you said that the founders of the Spirit of 47, they thought about this because the world was divided. And the Spirit is more or less the same. I mean, nowadays the world is getting divided, so we need more peace and more connection between people and between ourselves. So, peace on earth.
Some wonderful messages in this music. Thank you so much, Demian and Carolina. So Demian is now going to play Paz en la Tierra, Peace on Earth, followed by their joint composition, Tristecina. Thank you.
mar de mágoas sem marés, onde não há sinal de qualquer porto. De lés a lés, o céu é cor de cinza e o mundo desconforto. No quadrante deste mar que vai rasgando horizontes sempre iguais à minha frente, há um sonho agonizando lentamente, tristemente. Mãos e braços, para quê? E para quê os meus 5 sentidos? Se a gente não se abraça e não se vê, ambos perdidos. Nau da vida que me leva, naufragando em mar de treva, com meus sonhos de menina, triste sina, pelas rochas se quebrou e se perdeu a onda deste sonho. Depois ficou uma franja de espuma a desfazer-se em bruma. No meu jeito de sorrir ficou vincada a tristeza de por ti não ser beijada. Meu Senhor de todo sempre, sendo tudo, não és nada. Mãos e braços, para quê? E para quê os meus 5 sentidos? Se a gente não se abraça e não se vê, ambos perdidos. Nau da vida que me leva, naufragando em mar de treva, com meus sonhos de menina, triste sina.
Triste Sina, Sad Destiny, Carolina and Demian, Cabaud, thank you very much. Well, now, while we reset the stage here at the Edinburgh Studio Theatre, we're going to talk to a very special guest tonight who is Ramy Essam. And Ramy is a musician from Egypt who now lives in Sweden. And he came to international prominence in the year 2011 when he led the singing in Tahrir Square in Cairo. Indeed, one of his songs, Irhal, became known as the anthem of the revolution. So we're very privileged to have him. Let's welcome him, ladies and gentlemen, Ramy Essam. Ramy, you came to Europe on your own to settle here, to settle in Sweden. How easy was it to fit in with the musicians of Sweden?
In the beginning, it was hard because I didn't have friends. I didn't know the culture so well. But when it happened and I started to have a Swedish musician in my team, I was just enjoying the beauty that happens when different cultures meet. So, yeah.
What did you find was the major cultural difference between the Swedes and the Egyptians? I'm very curious to know.
Oh, it's a big question. They are so calm and cool, and we are crazy. And yeah, life there is quite slow and peaceful and safe. Yeah, Egypt everybody is running there trying to survive. Yeah.
Well, of course, your music led you right into the middle of politics. Back in 2011, you led the singing in the Egyptian revolution, and your song Ihal became so popular. How important do you think it is for musicians to be politically engaged?
I think it's very important for any artist to be politically engaged and aware about what's happening, because as artists, we have the strongest peaceful weapons in the world in our hands. If we sing, if we dance, if we paint, if we say poetry. And I saw with my eyes the power of the music in the street, especially that most of the people always have thoughts, have wishes or dreams or goals, but sometimes people don't know the way of how to express these feelings. And always the easiest way to do that is just make for them like good music, and it will express everything. Music is very important.
Well, I know you're going to do 2 songs for us. Tell us what you're going to play and sing.
Okay, the first one, it's a song showing how we can fight the violence of the authorities with making songs, especially when it's a sarcastic, funny song, making fun of them sometimes. And the second song will be, it's called The Girls in Prison, Signal Alwan, and it's about the important role that the girls and women played in the Egyptian revolution.
Now, I know that you've probably been asked this many times, and it's probably a very difficult question, but how would you describe your musical style?
I'm a rocker. I love rock music so much. And maybe when I have my band and my music would sound a little bit different than the standard rock because I'm mixing it with my Egyptian beats and rhythm and taste. That's how it sounds. But it's rock in the end.
Excellent. Well, Ramy, thank you so much. Looking forward to hearing from you, ladies and gentlemen. Ramy Essam. Thank you.
And the first song is called Dabbura Short Rukab, and it's written by Amgad Al-Ahwagi, the lyrics. يا ابو دبوره وشرط وكب مباحث تنفيذ واداب باستجواب بكلاب وعذاب روح اخبط راسك في الباب دبوره وشرط وكب مباحث تنفيذ واداب باستجواب بكلاب وعذاب روح اخبط راسك في الباب هتعيط يا اختي يا مسكين خدودك حمر وحلوين وعايزنا نقول لك اسفين ما تاخد لك حبة فازلين نحطه عالجرح الطري تبرد ناره وتطفيه يا نير هنعيد فيه وبقى تعالى ورقص فيه وبقى تعالى ورقص فيه يمكن في الأيام الجاية نعمل لك مولد وهدية تلعب فيه بمسدس مية الأسفينال بلا علوية بلا علوية يا ابو دبورة وشورت وكاب مباحث تنفيذ واداب باستجواب بكلاب وعذاب روح اخبط راسك في الباب دبورة وشورت وكاب مباحث تنفيذ واداب باستجواب بكلاب وعذاب روح اخبط راسك في الباب هتعيط يا اختي يا مسكين خدودك حمر وحلوين وعايزنا نقول لك اسفين ما تاخد لك حبة فازلين حطه عالجرح الطري تبرد ناره وتطفيه يا نيران عيد فيه وبقى تعالى وارقص فيه وبقى تعالى وارقص فيه وبقى تعالى وارقص فيه. The second one is called Sign بالألوان and written by جلال بحيري. في سجن فيه وردة على بابه فيه سجان كل السجون واحدة ده سجن بلا ألوان 4 حيطان من نور بتبارك العصيان ليه الطيور بتحج وتصاحب القضبان. سجن فيه وردة على بابه فيه سجان كل السجون واحدة سجن بلا ألوان 4 حيطان من نور بتبارك العصيان ليه الطيور بتحج وتصاحب القضبان لن تحبسوا وردة يا دولة العميان يا وطن يا محتل يا شعب غلبوا النوم الليل عليكم هل والحكم فيه للبوم كل الرجال سلموا سنة بطولها تقوم تكشف ضلال كذبكم وتحارب الفرعون. إيه إيه يا دولة المتاعيس العارفة أفكاركم المجد للمحابيس طول ما نفكركم. يا دولة المتاعيس العارفة أفكاركم المجد للمحابيس طول ما نفكركم. واللي في عدته الذل ما تقوملهوش قومة الثورة هي الحل وابقوا اسألوا دوما. لن تحبسوا وردة يا دولة العميان يا وطن يا محتل يا شعب غلبوا النوم الليل عليكم هل والحكم فيه للبوم كل الرجال سلموا سنة بطولها تقوم تكشف ضلال كذبكم وتحارب الفرعون. إيه 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 إيه
Thank you, the wonderful Ramy Essam. Well, now, at this point in the evening, we had hoped to welcome Conchita Wurst and the Syrian trio Basalt to the Edinburgh Festival. Sadly, they haven't been able to travel, so they can't join us here. But I'm very happy to say that this morning in Vienna, Conchita and Basalt recorded a special video greeting for us here in Edinburgh. We're going to see that now, and after that, we're going to show the wonderful film of the song they made together.
Dear all, as you can see, Basalt and I are unfortunately not able to be with you in Edinburgh.
We sadly have to stay in Vienna because of unsuccessful visa application.
But we are with you in our hearts.
And we are very disappointed that we can't perform our collaboration song for the new European Songbook at the festival. But now we want to show you the brand new video clip to Basalt's beautiful song Small House, produced by the Austrian Broadcasting Corporation, ORF.
We hope to join you next time and enjoy the video pretty much.
Thank you so much for watching, and we see each other very soon. Bye.
بيت صغير أنا وأنت فيه مراية كبيرة بدل الشباك فيه بتطلع الشباك ما بشوف شي يمكن ما ضل منا وانتي جنبي هون عم بتموتي وعم اصرخ لأ على صوتي بصراخي ما في بصراخي ما عم تسمعي شي
It's been so long since I've been worried, counting the stairs to my freedom's gate. Such a long time I've been stuck at my doorstep, not daring to take a step outside. Until suddenly a voice came through like a thunder to my heart, uniting me to love and rise again.
تملى المكان
teus rios, searching myself.
I não entendo.
Open the doors through the mirror.
But the Shabbat.
Be home again.
Wasn't that wonderful? Conchita Wurst and Basalt and their song Small House. Thanks so much to Conchita and to Basalt for sending us special greetings from Vienna. It meant so much to us, I know, here. And the wonderful video of their song, very short notice, when they found that sadly they couldn't join us here in person in Edinburgh. Well, I'm delighted now to be able to welcome from England Matthew Herbert and Arian Sadr, originally from Iran. Welcome to the two of you. Well, Matthew, tonight we're going to hear a fusion of your unique electronic, eclectic musical style and Arian's Persian percussion. So tell us a little bit about how you started working on your collaboration, The Boat That Brought Me. What was the first step?
The first step was to record Arian playing his percussion, his drums. What I liked about drums was a kind of timelessness about percussion. It could stretch back many centuries, or it could be very recent. And then what I did was I took recordings of him and chopped it up. And so what you'll see tonight when we play that piece is a kind of a duet between himself and himself. But sort of one is chopped in bits and sort of Englished and maybe ruined, and then there's his bit, his authentic bit going on at the same time. So, and I'm just kind of in the way of everything, really.
You're too modest, but Arian, how does it feel to play with this chopped up version of yourself?
I think it's pretty cool, actually, when you listen back to it, and because it's mainly based on improvisation, and I did a lot of different sound texture of my drums on different ones, and basically Matthew chose the best out of it, and it's like a painting, really. He just saw it in an abstract way, and he just put them all together as a part, all my bits and pieces from the other sound texture of my drums. So great experience. So I like it this way. It's like, it's not a usual way when you compose the music, really. It's like sort of based on the color of the sounds, really. It's abstract colors of the sounds. So too many colors, different colors going on. And but it makes sense at the end, when it comes at the one piece. So it's brilliant.
I'm starting to get the impression that you're an artist yourself, am I right?
Well, apart from music, I do a bit of painting as well, because I see my playing the drumming as a painting as well, in a way. So it's very, I see it very abstract way as well. So mainly with the piece, I call it The Wind, so you can actually see it in there. So there's lots of different colors in terms of sound texture going on.
And I can tell in your voice that you've settled in the north of England, am I right?
Yeah, it's been quite a long time, actually. It came 2003, it's about 15 years now, I think. It's 15, 16 years, nearly, yeah. So been quite a long time. But it's a mixture of the Iranian accent and the Manchester one, so it's like, whatever you call it. Anyway.
Well, it's a beautiful combination. Well, Matthew, tell us a little bit about the boat that brought me a little bit more, because I know you're joined by Heidi Vogel, who is a wonderful vocalist, a magnificent voice. I was hearing her earlier, and your friend Jan Sesnek as well. What's Jan's role?
Jan he's brought various bits that he's made himself, and he's going to do his best to try and ruin the whole experience by making strange noises over the top. But I think the original, the title's from a poem by Azita Garman, who's Iranian, and she's moved to Sweden, and so she wrote a poem about what it's like, and I thought it was interesting writing about the journey and the idea of missing the journey. We're so obsessed with here and there when we talk about borders, and actually, for me, I guess life feels somewhere in between a here and there. I feel as much of a connection to somebody in Berlin or somebody in Iraq as I do to my next door neighbor, you know. So for me, those distinctions aren't quite so important. So I liked that poem, and then added Heidi's amazing vocal, and Jan is there to provide electronic textures and things from various machines that he's made himself out of hacked cigar boxes and things like that.
Well, before we hear this collaboration, which sounds absolutely wonderful, we're going to hear a solo from you, Arian. This is called The Wind, I believe. What sort of sounds will you be using?
Well, it's an impression of the wind by my frame drum called Duff. So it's an impression of the wind. Basically, I'm making the wind sound, as well as it goes everywhere. It's like a journey, really. So with a different sound texture, some rhythmic pattern in there as well, and all improvised as well. Well, each time I play it, it sounds different. I mean, it's the same structure, but I feel different. That's what I like about it. It's always fresh. So, thank you.
Well, Matthew, I know that you're going to also play a number that isn't your collaboration for us. I think it's called Silence, isn't it? Tell us a little more about that.
I was thinking about pieces of music from my back catalogue, and I was thinking about pieces to do with absence and about memory, and I think a sense of where you've been. I think that's something that as humans we constantly struggle with, we never escape really where we left, whether it be our childhood and our relationship to our parents, or a sense of place, or the traumas that we've experienced, or something like that. So I wanted to do something about memory.
Wonderful. And a regular collaborator of yours is going to be taking part, Rahel, who I believe is a singer.
Yeah, that's right. So I'm particularly lucky because I've got two really good singers, two of Britain's best in my humble opinion. But Rahel I've worked with for a long time. She's in a band called Hajira, who have done some work with the British Council in the past. And yes, she'll be singing words out of her mouth. I don't know what else to say.
I think it's very interesting that although you're so deeply involved with electronics, you obviously have this very strong reaction to the human voice. What is special, for a composer about working with the human voice?
It's really, really annoying. I think there's a revolution in music, which we can now make music out of anything. We can now make music out of shoes, or Theresa May, or the war in Syria, or a pineapple, or it's extraordinary gift for musicians have been given in my lifetime to make music out of absolutely anything, with a sampler and microphones and computers. But it's really annoying because you can't beat the acoustic sound made by people blowing through tubes or singing out of. So it's a real. I feel like a sincere urge that I must make music out of whatever I find, or the stories that I want to tell. But you keep coming back to that emotional quality, or that physical acoustic thing of pushing air through little bits of skin in your body to create something extraordinary. So.
And later on, we're going to be hearing air pushed through saxophones as well. This is a little extra thing we're having at the end. Tell us a bit more about that.
Yes. So I had a call to say, unfortunately, we have these issues. Can you do some more? So we're going to do some more at the end, and drafted 3 local horn players from Edinburgh in. And we discovered a problem with the music about 4 minutes ago, so we've been busy printing out new pieces of music for us to play. And it's kind of a celebration of a sense of community and of people. I think all the talk of borders and things like that distracts from the fact that essentially we're human beings living on one joint place, and we need to look after this place, and obviously we need to look after each other, because if we don't, we'll die. It's pretty simple stuff. So it's a kind of a rallying call to say, let's be together, let's act together.
Well, I very much look forward to hearing that. But first of all, Arian, it is your turn to perform. So thank you very much. This is The Wind. Music created and performed on solo percussion by Arian Sadr. That was The Wind, absolutely tremendous, thrilling piece. And we're going to hear Silence by Matthew Herbert next. I just want to ask you a few more questions, Matthew, about your role as an electronic composer. I mean, when you were growing up, did you ever imagine that this would be your job, or did you want to be a train driver or something?
I wanted to be a traffic warden, actually. And now I just think, what a miserable sort of ambition. No, you know, in the sense of just, I don't know, I guess, I don't, that sounds really rude now. I don't mean to be rude about traffic wardens, but it was just, as a kid, I'm like, aim a bit higher, you know, an astronaut or something like that, rather than telling people where they can't park. But no, my dad was a BBC engineer for 25 years. And so I used to come up to Broadcasting House and see Tony Blackburn do Top of the Pops or John Dunn and Radio 2 and be, you know, very sort of up to knee high, and then go for a kebab with my dad afterwards and things.
So did you experience the radiophonic workshop, the legendary workshop?
Only as a listener. So I experienced it in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and obviously Doctor Who and things like that. And their biggest supply client was schools radio. So if you went to school in the 50s, 60s, 70s, the strange bleeps coming out of the room were often made by the Radiophonic Workshop. And in my day job, I now run it for the BBC. So I'm now director of the BBC Radiophonic Workshop, the new BBC Radiophonic Workshop, I should say. And so that there's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff while we try and formulate what it kind of looks like in this day and age. But yeah, I do pinch myself sometimes and think how lucky I am.
Because that must surely be the most creative job in the world, for a musician, perhaps.
It is, but it's also scary because it's about no limits. You know, the original Radiophonic Workshop in the 50s, when they were thinking about Doctor Who and things, they were thinking about the sounds of the future, what the future sounds like. Well, we're kind of in the future now, which is anybody can make music by stroking a bit of glass in their pocket and sending it to Brazil in 10 seconds. So now anything's possible. What do you do next? So we're kind of in the future, really. And at the same time as well, for me, it's about trying to connect it to something. So technology is all well and good, but you know, there's a lot of problems in the world right now, from climate change to movement of people across borders to all sorts of things. So it's really important to me that music stays rooted to that. So it's not all just about experimentation for experimentation's sake. And that's one of the things that I loved about the original Radiophonic Workshop, was that even though they were experimenting, they were doing it on Saturday night kids' TV. It wasn't in academic research departments. I mean, there was an element of that, but they were out on the front line trying to introduce the avant-garde to people.
Well, Matthew, thank you for giving us those insights into the world, the life of an electronic composer. Thank you so much. So here is your piece, Silence.
Could you be further? Could you be near? All of us on our backs, all of us needing to, all of us needing to, all of us needing to hear. Your silence, even when you're near, ticks, drips, revealing mysteries appear. Free the needy, free the one. I remember still. I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready to hear that again. I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready to hush this thing out.
Behind these eyes, they look like mine. All names are fading away. My eyes in when I think of that journey. Sometimes I miss the boat that brought me. Sometimes I miss the boat that brought me. Like a moon smudged with the cloud. Or when I splutter on a drink, my tongue trips up when I think of that journey. Sometimes I miss the boat that brought me. Sometimes I miss the boat that brought me. I am not stripped of word and I am not stripped of thought, but sometimes what I want to say, it gets lost. Sometimes I miss the boat that brought me. Sometimes I miss the boat that brought me. Came like love and then remained. Sometimes I miss the boat that brought me. 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 Sometimes I miss the boat that brought me.
Matthew Herbert with Arian, Sadr and friends performing their wonderful new song, The Boat That Brought Me. And that almost brings us to the end of the first new European Songbook concert here at the Edinburgh International Festival, part of the Spirit of 47. I'd like to thank all the artists who've joined us this evening, whether they were here in person or joined us via video link. It's wonderful to hear from Conchita and Basalt sending their special greeting to us. We're so grateful for that. And don't forget, you can hear and see all the songs on BBC Arts Digital. You can also hear them on BBC Radio 3. The song by Matthew and Arian is going to be broadcast tonight on Radio 3 straight after our evening prom. As for me, well, I will be back here tomorrow at 7 o'clock with our second concert streamed live. So do join me then. But right now, the music continues. Matthew Herbert collaborating yet again, this time with more of his horn-playing friends and his wonderful singers as well. And they're going to play us out with Strong. Good night.
You will pump the blood out of it.
You will put the heart back in some wheels in it.
We will damn the science of it.
We will build an alliance of it.
We will see the dollars in it.
We will be the humans.
We might have a yacht, but we still have the water.
You might have a car, but we still have the road.
You might have the bricks, but we still have the mortar.
You might have the weight, but we still bear the load.
We will dump the feelings in it.
We will feel the creatures in it.
You will dump the feelings in it.
We will feed the creatures in it.
You will hunt the profit in it.
We will put the value in it.
You will put the penthouse in it.
We will build a lighthouse for it.
You will see the dollars in it.
We will be the humans. You might have a yacht, but we still have the water. You might have a car, but we still have the road. You might have the bricks, but we still have the mortar. You might have the weight, but we still bear the load.
You will squeeze the life out of it.
We will bring our irons to it.
We will concrete it right over.
We will reach out further and further.
We will drink down deep and deeper.
We will stand up, sleep and sweeper.
You will see the dollars in it.
We will be the humans. You might have a yacht, but we still have the road. You might have a car, but we still have the road. You might have the bricks, but we still have the mortar. You might have the weight, but we still bear the load.
You might have a yacht, but
We still have the water. You might have a car, but we still have the road. You might have the bricks, but we still make the mortar. You might have the weight, but we still bear the load.
Council, NPC, NW, coming.